Most of us like to eat English strawberries at this time of year, but it seems few of us are willing to pick them. Farmers in the southeast, who together produce half of all the soft fruit grown in the UK, employ thousands of foreign workers over the summer to help with the harvest. They claim the billion-pound industry has to rely on seasonal staff because local people aren't interested in doing the job. But one Kent MP says more should be done to encourage the unemployed in this country to do jobs like fruit picking. Well, in a moment we'll be speaking to Mark Reckless, but first Helen Drew has this report.
10 in the morning and these workers have been picking strawberries and raspberries since 5:30. This farm in Faversham in Kent employs mainly foreign workers who have been here since May.
We have 15 full-time staff and we have a seasonal workforce of about 180, so it's quite a steep increase in activity. The full-time people are mostly British. The part-time people are mostly from Bulgaria and Romania and some from Poland and Lithuania.
With the southeast having a warmer climate than elsewhere in the country, it's well suited to fruit farming, which means there are lots of fruit picking jobs available.
And in the current economic climate, with unemployment at one of its highest rates for years, some people are arguing that these jobs should be going to local workers.
So why aren't farmers like Alistair hiring locals? He says he'd like to, but they're not interested.
We used to employ a lot of British people 25 years ago. That workforce seems to have disappeared now. I think also as a society we've sort of come away from doing hard manual work, and this is hard manual work, and it's not what people are used to.
This farm pays the £5.95 minimum wage plus holiday pay, plus extra the more fruit is picked.
Most of our pay is done on a piece rate basis. So for instance yesterday average earnings were just a bit over £7 an hour.
And what can people earn up to?
Well, the top people yesterday were about £11 an hour.
Hard work, but not the bad pay that many people assume it is. The average pay in Kent is very similar to Alistair's top wage, at £11.98 an hour. And in East Sussex, it's £11.52. Outside a job centre down the road in Sittingbourne, people who are claiming job seekers allowance seemed less keen on fruit picking, even when told how much the nearby farm pays.
Well, not much money, is it?
It's not something I'll be interested in.
Why not?
I've previously operated at much higher levels than that.
No, that seems a bit early to get up in the morning to me. Yeah, if I want to do a job like that, I'll be a milkman.
No, they should be paying more than that.
But not everyone is averse to the work.
Anything's better than going in there. I ain't working at the moment, but I'll do it, definitely.
So the benefit system works as a disincentive for many who would rather stay out of work than pick fruit. But the money is good enough for foreign workers like Jan from Romania, who is one of the 21,000 people to get one of the government's 6-month permits for seasonal agricultural workers each year.
I earn a lot of money, In 6 months I do maybe £6,000-7,000, and it's a lot for us, I have 28 years of age. It's kind of something for the future.
Whilst some people, including Conservative members of the government, don't want foreign workers to be given these jobs, others, like Sittingbourne MP Gordon Henderson, say that hiring foreign fruit pickers is the only option.
What we forget is that, we as a country, to get rid of our unemployment and to bring down the deficit and to sort out our economic problems, have got to do more exporting. One of the success stories is our agricultural sector doing exporting, and we've got to encourage that. We can only encourage that if the people that are growing things can actually pick the fruit and the vegetables that they provide. Now, if local people won't do it, they've got to bring people in.
It's being said that foreign workers are essential for keeping the region's fruit picking industry ticking over, not least because they're seemingly doing jobs that no one else wants. So, can the government encourage local people to see fruit picking as a viable alternative to being on benefits? Or is fruit picking one of those jobs in the British economy that will be forever foreign?
Helen Drew reporting. Well, joining me now in the studio is the Conservative MP for Rochester and Stroud, Mark Reckless. So, Mark, what's wrong with fruit picking being a foreigner's occupation?
Well, I mean, I think what we saw on the clip just then, the chap who was saying he didn't want to do it because he didn't like getting up in the morning, I mean, that will just really anger a lot of my constituents who get up at 6, 7 in the morning, perhaps commute to London, and feel they're then supporting other people to stay at home not working. And I really think we want to look much more to our own people here, whether students or people who are currently unemployed, to do this work. And
you heard them. They're not willing. I mean, it's not just the hours. It's also they seem to have higher expectations about the kind of work they should be doing, not hard manual work like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the problems has been the benefit system, and this week we've passed the welfare reform bill, and I think that really will begin to improve things.
How will it improve things?
Well, previously people were very concerned about taking seasonal work because they'd see so much of their benefit withdrawn, but also after the job finished they'd have to reapply for benefits, and that led many people to sort of fear that they might then not be eligible for benefits again. And we're going to bring in a universal credit and combine all these benefits into just the one, and I think that will really encourage people to work because the taper where it's withdrawn will be much less than some of the numbers at the moment, but also it will be a simple and much more automatic system. So I think that will really help local people get
I know
work.
the benefit system is one of the obstacles to this, to your proposal, but also there are other practicalities. The people who come from abroad, they live on the farm, they don't have to travel in quite rural areas. I mean, that's another disincentive for local employees, isn't it?
Well, I think the local employees could live at their own home and perhaps sort of travel in a few miles every day to do the work. I don't see that's a problem. But what concerns me about this scheme, and I'm asking Damien Green as part of his plans to sort of crack down and restrict the immigration and toughen the rules, is to look again at this programme, particularly in light of the benefit changes to help local people take up these jobs. Because at the moment, I was speaking to Andrew Green of my Migration Watch this week, and he was saying there's no checks to ensure that these people actually leave the country when the job's finished. So my concern is that unless we're checking people out or requiring some sort of bond payment to make sure that people do leave at the end, that quite a number of these people may be sort of staying on in the country illegally after the seasonal work's over.
Well, no evidence that we've got to support those claims, but you're talking to Damien Green, and the NFU is also talking to Damien Green. They love this system. It works for the farmers. Why should you start interfering with that? If it's working for the farmers and working for the foreign workers, you're not going to get very far, are you, with something that's going to be opposed by the agricultural community?
Well, I mean, I want to debate on this, and for two reasons. One, because there are local people unemployed who want jobs in many cases, and many of my constituents don't really want to be subsidising people sitting at home on welfare.
Do any farmers support your plans?
Well, no, I'm sure farmers are delighted to have sort of cheap and keen labour coming in from abroad. But if that's at the expense of local people possibly taking that job, now we're dealing with a benefits issue. And also, if it's leading to people staying on afterwards and there's leakage into the immigration system,
again,
we promised to cut
I'm
immigration.
sure will go down very well with a lot of people in your constituency and a lot of voters. But the fact is, farmers aren't going to welcome any interference with their employment. As Gordon Henderson said himself, your colleague, they need your support at a time like this with the economy in the state that it's in.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with Gordon Henderson on the key issue. We really need to get proper control of our immigration policy, and I think we can only do that if we're outside the European Union as an independent country again. But for the farmers now, I would say to them that if they pay more, perhaps to attract more domestic workers, then that should actually be reflected in the price of the strawberries that the supermarkets are paying. Because if the costs are a bit higher all round, it may mean that strawberries are a little more expensive, and we can have a debate whether we want that. But we really do need to control immigration.
But finally, as I've just pointed out, this doesn't stand much chance of actually changing the way things work, does it? I mean, you admitted yourself, farmers aren't particularly supportive. It's not going to happen, is it, Mark?
Well, at the moment, all these Romanians and Bulgarians, within a year or two, they're going to be allowed in automatically because of the EU. But rather than then have Ukrainians or people from North Africa, perhaps, I'm saying let's review this scheme and let's look at tightening the rules and encouraging domestic workers.
Okay, thank you very much indeed.
You.